Welcome to Akhand Vidyashram, the first institute of impeccable wisdom. We'll talk about DASANK, the 10 stage of development. Please look at the picture very clearly. You have sun in the middle and surrounded by a circle and has a 9 points. So 1 plus 9 is 10 thing, which is 10 stages of development, and this particular symbol is very clear on that. This is one of the symbols which I had made in 1997. Now comes the question. Whenever I'm in doubt, I watch cosmos, our entire universe as such, from animal kingdom to plant kingdom to human beings to everything around me in the universe or on the earth is my teacher. Why do I do? Because these are the things which have been uniform. I try to understand the divine mathematics as well as divine design symbols as such. Sanatana Dharma has given mantra, yantra, tantra, but I have added Ganit Vidya as a part to be conclusive in all the answers. I see uniform, omnipotent, omniscient, omnipresent, perfect divine design of nature in everything in the universe. I see a uniformity. I see a soul in everybody which is talking to me of the universal consciousness. So as a result, divine nature is my first teacher, continues to be, will always be there, because that is the only thing perfect. That's why I call it Aham Brahmasmi. I am like the divine nature. And Tattvamasi, everything in the nature is identical with the same divine design. This is my conclusion, mathematical conclusion. From that I have seen Pindant is a human body which is made of 10 chakras, not 7 chakras. Heaven, solar system, Surya Mandal is also of 10 heavenly bodies, and you can see the picture very clearly. When you see a spiral galaxy, is also well recognized that there are 10 suns in spiral galaxy as such. These 10, 10, 10 are not coincidences, and that is what I try to understand, that they have a meaning, why they are replicated as such in everywhere. Now, coming to Tattvamasi, again, it is not I am God. I make it very, Tat is the divine nature, Tvam is everything, and Asi is identical. Every object of the universe is identical as designed by nature. If the defects is not what I am talking about. I am talking about the perfect designs designed by nature. If things have gone wrong, let's not discuss about it. So as a result, there should be divine design is what I am talking about. Now we'll start with divine mathematics. The first thing which comes to my mind is the entire education of mathematics starts from zero. It is not Aryabhata who invented zero. Zero was as Shunya from Rigved itself. And this particular picture of 5 sequence. It is very interesting to see that it starts with 0. It does not start with any other number. That means that's a number. Everything has come from 0, is sustained by 0, will go back to 0, is something which has been recognized by India from the very beginning. And then this sequence has given me the knowledge of how in plant kingdom particularly you see it beautifully emerging at a gross level itself. And I am making it very clear, under the grass level. I am not talking of microfine level. Then come to the question of seeing the divine design of nature is the golden ratio which emerges much more clearly. The Fibonacci gives the number as 1.618, but golden ratio says, man-made design says is 1 plus square root of 5 divided by 2 is a number which is infinite number of digits, which I do not agree. 1.61 is too simple. Another thing is too complicated. Both are defective. Fibonacci, very clear, gross level, given an idea what you should look for. But here it is not. Then I have gone on to the next to find what is the actual design of golden ratio. Is the length and breadth. And this particular stage I found that 100 multiplied 161.8034 is the right dimension of the spiral galaxy. is as simple, and same thing in golden ratio. This is ideal length and breadth 100 into 161.8034. Now come to the question of how I design that. I have shared this particular thing done by me with, of course, inspiration by my soul. I make it very clear. Aham Brahmasmi, that means me and my soul, Aditi, are a good combination to do work intelligent and intuitively. And this I have shown 100 into 100 is 1, 100 into 50, 150 is the two rectangles, then Pythagorean theorem, and the number could have been done by anybody before, which I have done, but unfortunate to say, no one had done in the history of mankind. It's very unfortunate. Then I have gone further to say infinity. Infinity number which emerges from Fibonacci is 61.8034. It is not the number given by anyone in the world, and let me not name anyone as such. This is a perfect infinite number of infinity, 61.8034, and it is uniform throughout the world. I try to explain that inverse equation start by 100 by 100 and semicircle of 100 reduced by 61.8034 and go on further reducing it. In 10 stages you come to 1 level, but 11th stage is less than 1. From 100 to 1 it is 10 stages. That shows it's perfect that. Then further that also can be done, but you cannot go less than 1. So I am trying to make it 100 to 1 alone. So 10 stage. Now comes the Brahmank, is the first stage of creation. These earlier things are seen by the world as such, but unfortunately nobody has gone beyond what is the divine design of nature, Tattvamasi, which nature designed. And I have given the first concept as a Brahmank. Brahma means primer, the first, or Brahman, or the perfect one. Ank is a number. The first stage of creation is 22 by 21, which I am going to explain. This is how nature have done. This is something which has not been recognized by anybody in mathematics. Now this is a picture you can see in Akhand. The outer part is orbit of height is 22, side is 21, and that's it, and nothing more, nothing less. Now the question is, in the head bone there are 22 bones, out of which 21 are fixed, one is free, and that is mandible. Same sutures close at 22 years. After that becomes a demarcation for marking whether person died before 22 or after 22. Now coming to the making of Dasank, the 10th step. Now you have seen the up to Brahmank, I have already explained. Now we are going to 10th stage development, which is second stage of development in the universe to take it to Divyank. First stage 22 by 21, second is 10 10. Now I am going to show you how this 10 by 10 was developed by nature to come to this particular level. Now come to the question. It is the same structure of Divyank rectangle as such, 100 into 161.8034. But you have the first design in the center of 100 into 100 as the first square is what I have seen very clearly. We start with the first square. The square is divided into 20, but you see that each one square is divided into 21 equal parts. And why did I make it at 21 equal parts is something is very clear, because Upanishads make it very clear the solar system made of 21 parts. And same thing I see everywhere from top to the bottom, consistent 21, 21, 21, 21. But to have to go to the first, to go beyond the solar system, you need to take 22nd step. And once you take 22nd step, only then you can experience blissfulness or the freedom or samadhi state of yoga itself. So that is it. And this 21, 21, 21 is everywhere. 22, 22, 22 is also everywhere. Even sun goes around itself for 22 years. I have given all the examples from the modern science to the ancient and showed This is the consistency which I am looking for. Now, having understood this picture, let's go on to the next picture. Now, I have created the first orbit in that which I showed you of Brahmank. Now, I am using Brahmank and see how many Brahmanks can be further seen in this particular rectangle. First was 100 into 100, 21 parts. Now 22 part has been added. You can see in the picture is going to the next one at that part, and that is Brahmank. And having understood Brahmank, now we are going to repeat Brahmank. How many times we can repeat within that particular rectangle, which is Deviank rectangle. I have shown that in one form which everybody has used it, to 10 and the enneagram. But here this is something which nobody has used. It is done by me with the guidance of voice of silence. Now come to the second stage of 22 by 21 orbit is added. Now come to the third two stage, and you find you have 22 by 21 added once again, and you can see two further increases. The first one you can see, then you can see second, first one you can see second. First is only basic structure Brahmank. The first development, second development, two developments you can see in this particular thing very clearly, and you are going to see 10 stages of development. Now come to the question of third stage of development of 22 by 21. You can see very clearly three lines coming after the orbit. Now come to the fourth stage of another 20 into 21 orbit. Added to that, you can see fourth very clearly. Now come to the fifth, another 21 to 21. You can see it clearly as the fifth. You can see the mark clearly. Then comes the sixth. You can see very clearly. Then you come to the seventh stage, is also clear. Then you say eighth. You can see there is a space beyond which we can further move on. Now come to the ninth. We have come closer to the end of the rectangle. As simple as that. Now in the 10th, we are very close to the end. That means in 10 stages, we have more or less covered 99% of the area. This small area is left. You can see it very clearly in that particular spot. And that is the area which is to be explored. Now we will go to the next one to see. When you see in this particular thing, the 11th stage, it cannot be done at all. It is not complete because area is less. It cannot be equivalent to 22 by 21. That ratio is not maintained. It's lesser than that ratio. So what is the ratio is something we'll have to discuss in further when go to the third stage of Shivank. We have got Brahmank, the first stage 22 21, then 10 stage of development. I got DASANK, or I can get Vishnuank or Dasavatar, whatever may be. But when you come to this particular stage, you come to the realize that we have come to 10 stages complete. That means Dasavataram are very clear. And this picture I have shown again in this particular concept how things have worked to this level. How I found 100 by 161 is very clear as a rectangle. Then how 21 by 21 is there, how the 10 stages are there. At this particular juncture, for the benefit of the people, how did I get the inspiration to do this? Now I am making this clear. I am not showing the pictures, but I want everybody to understand these are the different ways which made me think that Sanatana Dharma has given different information. How the different information can help me to understand and explain things very clearly. So since I don't want to go to religion, but at the same time I do need to tell you certain things of 10 stages which are very consistent. As I said, Brahmant and Pindant are identical. Now we'll take Dasavatar first, 10 incarnation. The first is Matsya, which is fish, you can see in Akhand. Second is Kurma as a tortoise, also you can see in Akhand. Third, go to Vara, you can see. And then Narsimha you can see. then Parshuram, then you can see Brahman, then you see Parshuram, and then you see Rama, you see Balrama, you see Krishna, and then you see Kalki Avatar as a 10. So all the 10 things. But I want to make one thing very, very clear. Many of the people have put Buddha in the place. I have replaced Buddha with Balram, because Balram represents or non-aligned approach, is not the someone who can hit and done. Vishnu is not supposed to be the one who can keep quiet. He is to rectify, and the person who has to rectify cannot be democrat, cannot be diplomat, he has to be autocrat. If somebody is wrong, Dharma should take over, he should finish it off. That is where I find Buddha does not fit, because his hits, you do it. But unfortunately or fortunately, I also know Shaolin Temple emerged in Buddhism later as a self-defense, and that I agree. But that is not what Buddha stood for. His followers have found that is not to be activated, and same thing which I am saying, not living, non-aligned, not taking part this and that is permitted as part of the brain. That's one part. Now coming to the question of chakras. There are 10 chakras which people talk of 7, I say 10. Even 7 is wrong. Sat Chakra Nirupana talks of only 6 chakras. I talk of 10. Let me tell you what are 10 chakras, which are the 10 stages. First chakra to be considered for importance is Mooladhara Chakra. When I talk of Mooladhara Chakra, I connect it with earth element. Let it be very clear. It is earth, it is Mooladhara, and done with it. When come to the second was Swadhisthana, I make it very clear it is Venus. And when come to the third stage of Navi Chakra, I make it very clear it is connected with Mercury. Let it be very clear. So you're going from Earth to Venus to Mercury in the same direction, you are moving towards Sun, and that's it. When you come to the fourth chakra, which I talk about at a Manipura chakra, I associate it with Moon, which is very prominent heavenly body, the system which we can see from Earth very clearly. We can see Sun, we can see Moon, and that's a combination with Earth is a phenomenal for all of us to understand as our Guru. Then come to the next one, Moon. Then we come to fifth one, is it Anhata Chakra, which I say it's close to Sun as such, nothing other than that. Having understood that, then we go on to the next one to come to Vishuddhi Chakra, and I associate that with Mars. Leave it. The next is Agnya Chakra, and that Agnya Chakra is with asteroid belt. As such, asteroid belt is not considered, but is very important when you look at the dimensions as such, and I have already explained. When come to the next chakra, I talk about Pragyan, Vigyan, that is with Jupiter, intelligence, integration, otherwise. When you go to next one, ninth one is Pragyan, which is associated with Saturn. So right up to Saturn, we have come up to 9, and then come to the solar system beyond. That's it. So now we, having said Dasatara, 10 stages, 10 planets, 10 chakras, and comprehensively seeing that, I think is very, very clear. This is how nature had designed it. Having understood that, I think it's very clear. We have understood the first step as a Brahmank as 22 by 21. Then you have understood the power of 10. So 22 by 21 to the power of 10. Up to this, I had realized, even when I wrote the book, Akhand and Essence of Universal Consciousness. But what was beyond at that particular stage of 2002, I did not know. To find that what is exactly the value of the third maturation stage, after finishing my PhD in 2001, writing the book in 2002, it took me another 12-13 years before I realized that this could be the precise, concise. Maybe that is the reason why I had to come to medical college, be associated with statisticians and mathematicians and seeing research in much more precise and concise. And that's how I move on. I will be talking about Shiv Ank as the third stage of maturation as we move on. So now you see how I have gone step by step, or I have been taken step by step to this and made things very clear by divine nature. This is how nature has worked, which unfortunately has never been seen by anybody in this precise, concise way. And I'm glad having done. As a result, what I'm showing now should be the subject of interest to everybody, because we are talking of all the 64 arts and sciences with a mathematical precision which everybody should have it. Now comes the question of the impeccable wisdom. Now, having understood Brahmank as 22 by 21 and the power of 10 is there up to DASANK. Very clear. So far, explain that. And in the process, explain the structure of spiral galaxy as Brahmank rectangle, and this could have been done before. But third stage of maturation is partial. It's not complete. We have already realized. What is the perfect decimal value of the third stage is something which we need to look forward. And this shall be the subject of the next video called Shivank. Now I have given the picture. Divyank is as follows. 22 by 21 to the power of 10, I have already explained. This 0.34419 equivalent to 161. We are going to talk about it. 100 into 100, 161.80 I have already explained. But coming down to this ratio of precise, concise as a Divyank, we need to move on to the next stage. Having given you the idea of the background with which I have worked precisely, concisely to come to this stage, I think we should be mentally ready to see how Shivank unfolds the beauty. Why it's called Shivank? Because Shiva is the only one which is a lord of dissolution and regeneration both. It's not regeneration without dissolution does not arise, and Shiv has both beginning at the end. That's the reason in Shiv Lingam I said starts from pole star Dhruv to sun is something which is equivalent, is in 22, 21. That was the first divine design. And from 22 by 7 has come as a 1/3 as 22 by 21 itself. So now you see the design with which things are done. Akhand Brahman to Shivlingam to Pi to 21, 21, 10 stages. Now we'll go to the next stage and see how beautiful the divine nature is, and only person who's in tune with divine consciousness can do it. And I can tell you, earth element according to Schumann is 7.83 hertz frequency, and I can produce 8 hertz frequency throughout the brain with eyes open, eye senses also open, anywhere and everywhere in all the brain, which nobody has done it. Maybe that has given me the power of working for 60 ground to this level and bringing science and spiritual together, and this is what it is all about. With that, how we will talk about every art and science to precision which every student of the world should have it. That is going to be seen as I have already shown, but it's now it's like a book. It's coming up as a chapter. Now this is the last picture. I'm not going to talk about it. I think we will talk about it culmination to this as we move on to that particular stage. So thank you very